Hi, and welcome to this tutorial video for Prog 1210 Rapid Application Development. In this video, we're going to be modifying our grid view so that we can control this edit link and have it execute our update stored procedure rather than the automatic grid view update procedure. So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to convert all of our fields in our grid view to templates. The last two, practice date and instrument, are already template fields because we modified them earlier to add the drop-downs. However, we need to convert the other four fields, that is our command field with the edit, delete, and select links, first name, last name, and birth date, so that we can modify all these fields and access the controls inside them. So I'm going to open my tasks menu for the grid view and click on Edit Columns. The pop-up appears, and in our selected fields area in the bottom left of this pop-up, you can see how practice day and instrument have a different icon beside them, because they're now designated as template fields. So one by one, I'm going to select these other fields and click on the blue Convert this field into a template field link just above the OK button. So I'll first select the command field and convert that. Next, we'll do first name, then last name, and finally birth date. So now all of our fields are template fields and we can access their controls within the code. Our next step is to get to all of the text boxes and drop-downs that are part of each grid view row, because when we do the update, we'll need to access these values in order to pass them to the stored procedure. One way of doing this is by accessing in code all of the names of the text boxes and drop-downs. Now later we'll see how we can't access the names directly. We'll need to use a find method. But for now, we're just going to focus on giving these things appropriate names so we know which text boxes to access, rather than trying to remember which one is text box 1 and text box 2. You can do this through the edit templates by selecting each column one by one, going to its edit item template, finding the text box, and using the properties window to give it a new name. However, this way takes a bit of time. So what I'm going to do instead is go into our code view, because it's a lot faster to find these objects in code. So we're going to scroll up through the code in our grid view to the top. You'll see here's the beginning of our grid view tag. Our first template field is this one, and that would be the template field for the link buttons, that is edit, delete, and select, update, those buttons there. We'll skip by that one for now and go to the next one, which is our field for the first name. You can see that we have the edit item template with the text box, and then we have the item template with the label. We're interested in updating, which means we want to get the name of the text box here. So I'm going to change the text box's ID to txt edit first. That will help us in the code, because we'll know exactly which text box we want to access. I'm going to scroll down now to the last name field and rename the last name's text box txt edit last. I'm going to continue down, rename the birth date text box to txt edit birth. Next up is the drop-down for practice days. So you can see right now it's called drop-down list 2, which is not a very accurate or descriptive name. So instead we'll do ddl edit practice. Last but not least, we've got our instrument drop-down list here. It's labeled right now as drop-down list 1. We'll change it to ddl edit instrument. Now that we've got all these controls renamed, we'll be able to access them in code by referring to those names later. Our next step is to change the edit link so that we can control what happens when you click on it. I'll go back into design view for now. open the Edit Templates window, and you can see it starts us out here in this item template. Now, the link that we're interested in changing is not actually the edit link here. This one is the one that puts our grid view into edit mode and changes all the labels into text boxes. We still want this link to operate that same way. So it's not the edit link that we're interested in actually changing, it's really the update link. So when your grid view row is in edit mode, the links change to update and cancel. And when you click update, this is the link that actually performs the update against the information in the grid view row. So this is the link that we want to modify. And we're going to make two changes to it. The first is removing the command name property. If we look over at the properties window here, you'll see there's the command name property, and right now it's set to update. The update command name is what makes this link perform the grid view's update function. Now that's what we're trying to bypass because we want to write our own update function instead. So I'm just going to remove the update command name from this link. So as it stands right now, this link will do nothing. Next, I'm going to create a click event for the link. And in order to do that, I'm just going to double click on it. You can see it's given us an event that occurs when we click on that link button. Would have been a great idea to rename that button before we double click it, because then it would have a more accurate name for our link button click event. So at this point we're ready to write the code that will perform the update. And our code will have to perform the following steps. The first is to find the selected row of the grid view. The next step is to get the musician ID. We'll need to pass that to our update stored procedure. The next step after that is to get values from the input controls. So we want to find out what the users typed into the text boxes and selected from the drop-downs. Sometimes this will require a bit of type conversion. We need to convert, for example, the birth date into a date time, and we need to convert instrument ID into an integer. Our next step would be to call the update stored procedure. And once that's finished, we'll need to data bind the grid view. I'm going to perform these steps in the next video in this series.